and he would kept saying Mishners. He added an S, a couple S's, I think, an N.
Did you say misters?
Mishners. I'm not real sure what he was.
You know why? Because I never knew how it was spelled. And I've never really heard anyone say
And then he never changed it.
Hello and welcome everyone to episode 28 of The Mashup, the best bourbon conversation you're going to hear all week long. We're your hosts, Michael, Anthony, and Steven. Hello, gentlemen.
Good evening, fellas.
You guys are two of the most legit guys I know.
Can I just say I'm excited because this is the last time we have to use these microphones.
Don't say that.
I mean, hopefully.
You're going to jinx it.
I'm going to jinx it, but, you know, I've heard that there's new equipment on the way. I think I even saw an Instagram post that there is new equipment on the way.
Still waiting for some parts to come in so we can fully use it, but it's getting close.
Well, I'm so excited about that because, again, I want everybody to hear the great sounds that you can produce with the wonderful voice that you have, right?
I mean,
Each of you.
I just want to hear Steven in normal sounds, right?
That's right.
Slow all the time.
You know, Steven is
I have
just
no
constantly
idea.
worried about his sound.
What you guys don't know is that he is the man. He's the audio engineer, and he gets worried about how we sound. So he spends so much time working on how Michael and I sound.
Yeah,
Then he
true.
always
He
just like
doesn't
puts
even
himself
forgets
last.
about himself. That's good. That's a good team player.
Exactly. And so now we're going to have new equipment, and everyone's going to sound just,
So, we're moving into a new season, right? New equipment. Summer is starting to end. I'm looking forward to the fall. Although I like the summer. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love the hot weather. If it could be hot all year long, I love it.
yeah.
But I am looking forward, seriously, to football and, you know, all the stuff that fall brings, right?
Oh, football. I'm ready to be in a packed stadium that's moving.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be loud.
Just to backtrack real quick, though, just because we were getting ready to go on vacation.
Yeah.
And it was like the middle of, not even the middle of July, it was like the beginning of July before we went on our vacation. And my wife and I went to get sunscreen, you know, before our vacation. And like everybody's put all that stuff away. Like that's crazy to me. You know, I mean, I know we're getting to the fall, but like, you know, why? Why put all that stuff? It's July, you know?
I still need it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wearing sunscreen.
My wife would be horrified. She's like sunscreening the kids when they walk to the mailbox. So
I mean, shout out to our buddy Chris. He wears sunscreen throughout the year.
Throughout the year.
365 days
Nice.
a year.
Very good.
What's he going to do with that?
I mean, when the sun comes up Christmas morning, they are lathering it on. I take that back. They're not up in the morning. So when Christmas afternoon, they're lathering it on. Because he's not up in time for Christmas
So
morning.
even in the fall?
I mean, he's got... I went to a baseball game with him just a couple weeks ago. It was a 7 o'clock game. It was 7 o'clock at night. And, I mean, he had his bottle of sunscreen. And, you know, he was putting it on. I mean, they're in Hawaii right now, so I'm sure poor Hawaii is running out of sunscreen right now because of them. But, yes, no, football, I mean, we're going to be back to, you know, I can finally get back to the games, you know.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Basketball's going to be good this year.
Oh, ready. Just ready.
Yeah, I'm also just stoked about the fall. Like, there's just something about the fact when, you know, things change a little bit, it gets a little cooler, you get the leaves changing, all that kind of stuff just sets me, you know, in the mood for, you know, you said football, which I'm all a college football fan, but I also like Premier League soccer. And so, you know, soccer Saturdays for me in the morning's a lot of fun. Like to make good breakfast, you know, sometimes get together with friends and stuff like that and just watch some Premier League games. So I'm looking forward to stuff like that, stuff that, you know, during the past year I didn't do. I just kind of sat there like a lump, you know, like a lot of us
That
did.
is I don't know if you have a podcast for that, but that is one you don't need to invite me to, right there.
Oh, soccer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I like soccer. No, I do like soccer, but I don't care about the Premier League.
Ah, well, okay.
But, you know, we started doing the bonfires and stuff like that.
Okay.
Or our friends Brandon and Jordan, they had a bonfire a couple of years ago in the fall, which ended up just kind of being a brush fire. He had an idea, and it ended up just flaming out literally in about 20 minutes.
Fire department called?
No,
everything, or
they live on a farm,
Okay.
so but he just kind of took all of his old sticks and thought he could have a bonfire, but it basically just burned up and it was over in 20 minutes. But, you know, so...
But
that part is fun.
Well,
And Halloween's coming up.
No, that's good.
Steven,
do you guys ever put a bourbon bar out for Halloween?
Last year we did not, but
no, we walked through the neighborhood with a cup.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm actually thinking about this year, depending on what my kids do, what I have to do. I think I'm going to actually try to put out.
Are you going to stay in your neighborhood or come up here?
You need to come up here.
You need to come up here.
Can you come here?
I mean,
okay.
It's a Weller 12 tradition.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We
Okay.
walk around 12. And,
With Weller 12.
All right.
and this street, people travel this street.
Okay.
Yeah. And they get, tell your kids, they give good candy too.
Well, I think we'll start a new tradition this year, and then maybe we can still set up a bourbon bar, because what I want to do is I want to like take care of people also that are walking around with their kids. I want to be like, hey, come have a pour of this, pour of that. A lot of people do that. Very
Maybe
popular.
That's what we should start doing.
Yeah.
Because kids are getting older now, so like they kind of go on their own. I mean, my wife will go with them, but
There you go.
you know,
We can just entertain everybody that's got to be walking around with their kids, make it a little less miserable for them, right? The
Yeah.
small ones. Not that it's not miserable. Halloween's fun.
and you know, it's trick or treat. So
Yeah.
if they're jerks, you give them the Willet pot still. You know,
And if they're good people, you give them a Weller 12, right?
yeah, you give them something you like. But
Yeah.
most people are getting the Weller 12 or the Willet pot still.
Yeah.
'Cause you gotta get rid of it.
Have something out of this really nice looking bottle.
Well, speaking of bottles, this week we have a bottle of Michter's Barrel Strength Rye.
All right.
Wait, what was that?
I think you said Michter's, right?
I think that's what happened.
All right, yeah, perfect. So we got Michter's Barrel Strength Rye, which the distillery is the Michter's Distillery in Louisville, Kentucky, and Camp Fort Nelson as well. Bottle date is 2021. The ABV on this one is 53.7%. Proof is 107.4. There is no age statement, and just like the mash bill is also a little bit of a mystery here. They don't state what their mash bill is, but I've read a lot, and they talk about being a Kentucky-style rye. And so for those of you who don't know, a Kentucky-style rye is usually a barley rye, and a barley rye is usually 51%. So they use a fair amount of corn and malted barley. So the MSRP on this one is $100 for the 2021. But we were comparing notes before the show here, and we said that we've seen this usually priced between $80 and $90. Is that correct, gentlemen?
Yes.
Last time I saw it, that's
Yeah.
what it was.
So they might have that posted MSRP of 100, but most of the time we see it, it's usually closer to that price range.
So it is Michter's, right? As I'm looking at the bottle here.
You know, I've heard it pronounced a lot of different ways.
Because, you know, 4 or 5 years ago, I can't remember when we started, you know, I started getting into bourbon, especially with Steven, and he would kept saying Michter's. He added an S, a couple S's, I think, an N.
Did you say Mister's?
Michter's. I'm not real sure what he was.
You know why? Because I never knew how it was spelled. And I never really heard anyone say
And then he
it.
never changed it once he did find out how it was spelled. That's what's true. And he listens to other people's podcasts and he watches things and he hears it, but he still says Michter's, right? So, which is cool. That's fine. And I told him, right? Just go ahead and own that. That's your thing. Like,
That's so great.
and no one ever says he's wrong. So maybe he's right. But
Even though no one ever says it.
as I look at the bottle, it says Michter's. It is a limited release, is what like Anthony said, right? So what is that, like once a year, twice a year?
With this one, I think it's a couple times a year because they have different batches, so I'm not sure.
So I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
just fascinated by what it means to be distilled according to Michter's pre-Revolutionary War quality standards. I mean, pre-Revolutionary War standards are.
You know, when I think of bourbon in old times, I don't think quality.
Well, when I think of anything, quality,
I can tell you that.
right? We're not riding around on horseback anymore. We're not using quill pins. So
You
They're
get
not,
the-
they're not taking the bourbon and double casting it in the port finish barrel.
we're not, you know, we didn't take the Tea Party tea cases and turn it into bourbon.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
There's some of those cases
Oh,
still
man,
around.
what
and
about that?
You put some bourbon
Yeah,
in there?
exactly.
Oh, my goodness.
I
I
think
could be
that's-
having like a brain thing here, but I think in a previous episode I called Paul Revere overrated, didn't I? Did I do
I
that?
think you probably did.
I think I did,
think you
maybe.
did.
I don't know
I
what's the
agree.
matter with me.
I agree. So they take their label and they do that. You know, they make it look old. You know, it kind of looks like kind of wrinkled around the edges and stuff. Like is anybody really going to believe that this label is 250 years old? But
I think George himself.
I mean, maybe this is barrel number 23A320. So, like you said, it's 107.4 proof. So it's got that on there. It is barrel strength, but that's not very high for a barrel strength, right?
Well, it's not high because Michter's actually prides themselves on this. They actually have a barrel entry proof for all their products of 103, and so they say
Really?
when it goes into the barrel, it's always 103, and they say that makes a smoother, more full-bodied whiskey, and it also is more expensive for them to put it in the bottle. I mean, the barrel at that 103 strength. So they've really gone all in on that, and they talk about it a lot. So that's a very unique thing with them.
And it's a rye, so of course it's got a green label.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
You know, solid, real cork.
real cork.
Real cork.
Woo!
It's
Extra
it's
points.
good. You know, I heard that Missioners they use a synthetic cork. You know, it's not as good.
Not Michter's though.
Yeah, they cut the corners on those.
Yeah.
Steven, I think Steven's been drinking the. You know, it's like when we went to. And again, I'm sorry to mention my vacation, but you know when we were in Mexico.
Yes, the weather was nice too.
No, my son bought some. My son bought some Oakleys, and you guys can't see it on my podcast, but we've got the quotes around the Oakleys, and they were
Yes.
$10.
Oh, nice.
You know?
Yeah, Oakley's
I think
for 10.
Steven's been drinking the Mishners, you know, the knockoff Michters, and that's what he's always had. I think.
I wonder why he called me all excited that one day and said that he had all that stuff that, he had found for really cheap.
Yeah, that's what he's been. He's been dabbling in the black market there.
There you
So
go.
the secondary market, different kind of secondary market.
Would you say the mystery market?
Oh,
Mystery.
Mystery.
Well, that bottle looks identical to their standard product.
It does,
off that
yes.
line.
They're like so. Okay, so yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Right, we have the regular Michters, which has this bottle, and then their Michters 10 bottles are kind of more of a
Maker's 46-ish.
yeah. It's kind of like a little skinnier at the bottom and gets bigger at the top with a wax top.
I actually think that the 10-year-old versions of these Michter's products are some of the best looking bottles I've ever
I
seen.
agree.
I agree.
Yeah, they're just
I thought
striking.
the first time I saw Michters 10, I thought it was a bigger bottle. Like it,
Mhm.
you know, I thought it was like
Yeah.
a liter or something, but hard to believe. These just look like standard whiskey bottles.
Yeah,
You know,
old-time
Yeah.
whiskey bottle.
yeah. So kind of simple.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Very revolutionary.
I don't know. Can you buy this online? Pick it up at their distillery.
Yes, actually. In fact, they actually did a good job with curbside during the pandemic. So initially they started with you had to call on the phone.
That always seems like a bad idea.
It did, but you could actually get through, which was nice. And so once you get through, then you could order what you wanted to order, and they had a limited amount of product. But now they do it where they open it at certain amounts of time, and you have only, you can buy it online, and you got to pick it up. But
So is their only place, the one downtown Louisville? Is that where do they have like a
no, they also have another.
like you know how like Old
facility.
Forester has one down in Louisville, but then I think they have
one.
or Evan Williams or somebody has one. You know, Evan Williams has one in downtown Louisville, but then of course you can go to Heaven Hill and
Yeah.
buy stuff too.
No, Michter's has the downtown and the Fort Nelson locations.
Where's that at?
Well, Fort Nelson can't.
Is it hard to get into?
I don't
It's
think
a
so.
Fort.
I've never been there. I've never.
Has it got guards?
It might have guards. It might
Daniel
have moat.
Boone holding his
Castle.
musket at the top of the thing.
Absolutely. There's alligators in the moat as well.
Oh, yeah.
Even though they're not up here, but yeah. So they did a pretty good job during the pandemic.
Now,
I mean, I was pretty
didn't
pleased.
they move down here from New York or Pennsylvania? The company?
I-
And when they first came, there was some resistance against it because
I think so. They had a lot of things with their story, and of course, initially they were sourcing a lot of their product before they're distilling anything. So, I mean, if you want to know about that history, I recommend going to, some of the disputed sites that talk about their whole story that was disputed about George Washington and everything else. But, I mean, modern day Michter's at the end of the day is just really, in my opinion, a really solid brand. So I'm excited to taste this one tonight.
let's go for our first notes.
I don't know, to me, very just pleasing scents on the nose. I always get a lot of caramel, massive amounts, especially for a rye, which is weird.
You're getting warm maple syrup.
There you go.
Warm maple syrup.
Little pancakes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like to Anthony, this is like, you know, when you sit down with your favorite movie and you want others to watch it with you because you like it that much, but you can't keep your mouth shut while it's going on. Like, oh wait till this part comes. You know, like this is my favorite part. Just wait.
Yes.
I feel like that's what Anthony is with this bottle.
Yeah.
Because he was telling us earlier that you got a lot of these at home.
You know, you never sit down and watch my favorite movies.
I don't watch movies, though. That's the thing. And I don't have time to sit around and watch Ewoks and Jedis and all that kind of stuff, so...
That's an accurate description of what you just said, but I want to, obviously, I'm always interested.
You want other people to be as excited about what you like as you are. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I don't know that you guys will be, so that's a part of the mystery here, you know?
Just like if Steven tried to have me watch Star Wars.
There's a lot of people who love Star Wars.
Game of Thrones.
Or Game of Thrones.
Or, for me, Beavis and Butthead.
For me, it'd be Bar Rescue.
There you go.
We can watch Die Hard.
Only if it's the holidays.
That's right, it's Christmas Eve.
Christmas
we have a
Eve.
little...
You picking up any other notes?
Just a lot of heavy malted, and when I say malted, a lot of like butterscotch, caramel, kind of forward in the nose.
It's very sweet.
Yeah,
I
a lot
wonder
of
if it's going to
sweetness.
taste as sweet as it smells.
Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Which is weird.
Here's the thing: when you got a rye, you expect it to be spicy. There's some spice to this, but to me, very sweet, very very caramel forward. Had a little bit of cinnamon. I taste. I don't know what you guys think.
I feel like my taste levels are different than yours. I'm getting a little sweet, but I'm getting more of the spice.
Spice.
The spice level of the rye.
Which, I mean, it's a rye whiskey after all, but still. What do you think? What's the sweetness you're tasting?
A lot of caramel.
A lot of caramel, yeah.
Yeah. I don't really get rye. Like, it's weird, you know?
Well, if it's spicy with the rye, but the caramel, it's usually a baking spice that's present. But for me, I don't know. I yield to you guys because, as we'll find out soon in the past try-by, I think you're gonna be all hell no. Yeah, I might be a pass.
Not only are you pass, you're sell.
Yeah.
Sell all the ones you have.
All the ones that I have, but I have never done.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right.
You know what? I've changed my mind. I no longer like them.
Exactly right. Is that going to be coming?
No,
people are going to wait to hear if I've changed my mind.
Well, let's not keep them waiting. Gentlemen, would you pass, try, or buy on the Michter's barrel strength rye?
I would buy it at $90. I'd buy it. At secondary, I wouldn't.
What is it going for at secondary?
I think it's about maybe double that, 180.
No, 180.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like around here last time it was on the shelf, people were buying it up at 90, and then trying to sell it they're trying to sell it at about 200. It just wasn't, it just wasn't going. So I think it was about 180. People were buying it. I wouldn't do that, but it is good though. It is good though. I would buy it if I saw it on the shelf.
Nice.
Well, I'm gonna do a try. So I don't feel like I'm getting much out of it.
Okay.
Yeah. Nothing else. I mean, probably a try is because of the price being $100, and I'm just not getting much out of it.
I hear you.
I don't feel like, for me, it's probably worth the price.
And I also think, real quick, just a higher proof rye is that's good. It's kind of hard to find.
Yeah, I agree. And I will just say this, I agree with you on the secondary price, and I also agree with what Steven's saying. The first time I ever tried this, I tried it against other Michter's products, and it came out on top. I think it was a 2017, and at that time I said, if I tried it against all those other things and know what I've tasted, I'm going to buy it every time, and I did. My buy doesn't change because I probably have, 7 or 8 bottles of this at my house. And so I know that that's not normal for us when we talk about this stuff at the podcast. We might say, we got extra Blantons. A lot of people have extra Blantons and stuff like that. But for me, the reason why I go back to Michael's comment is because I will not pay secondary for it. I'm not going to spend $160 to $200 on it. But if I can get it in the range, and I have, because I've done some deals for it, I've been we're going to be in the 150 range, and I'm trading you a bottle, and I'll give you $10 cash or whatever. I'll do that all day. And when it comes to this bottle, I can't be clear-eyed because I think this is some of the best rye on the market, and I would buy it 100 times over. And
best rye for the price range.
Yeah, I kind of think so. I mean, because if you think about it, there
Because the Willet rye is 7 year.
Yeah, but the Willet Rye at 7 years probably going to cost you.
Oh yeah.
Well, you had the
200 and something.
Yeah, so
Nashville, we did the Nashville Barrel Rye, right? That was $110 or $120.
Mm-hmm.
So do you notice, is there differences between the different releases, like 17, 18, 19, 20, 21?
Yeah, I think so.
Are there some better than others, or?
I think that there were some really standout ones in 17, 18. I didn't find as many in 19, 20, and 21 still. I only have a couple bottles of 21, so I'm not sure. But there was definitely a lot more standouts, I feel like, in 17, 18, which makes me wonder a little bit, but I still like the product.
Did we say at the beginning of this what year this one was?
21.
We did,
21.
yeah. 21.
I wasn't listening.
Yeah.
Was 2018 in general a good year for bourbon? Because the William Lou Weller 18 is supposed to be pretty high up there as far as. And you said the 17, 18
exactly
was good. I didn't know if like 18 was a good year in general.
Well, I often wondered that when you get we should do something, talk about that, because, we know living in Kentucky, we know that there are certain years at times are harsher than others when it comes to weather and things like that. Not to bring up the weather, but I mean, that definitely affects the aging of the products. And so if you run into a year where you got all these whiskeys that are distilled and aged here that are just, massively, cutting it up, getting massive ratings and everything else, and then, that's a good thing to think of. I never thought about that.
Yeah, maybe you should look for another 18 bottle and just something random and, maybe compare it to the one on the shelf and see how much different it is.
That'd be good to me.
And with that, thanks for listening to this week's edition. Please like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Mashup KY. Also, let us know your thoughts on this bottle in the comment section. Until next time, keep it.